and happy new week. It is your internet homegirl here, Simply T, and I'm just popping in just to see what's up with you. I hope you're having a great week so far. And we haven't caught up in a little bit. So I am kind of getting myself together for a quick little meetup with my girlfriends, and I figured I would bring you along the way. Not really trying to do anything too heavy right now. The outfit that I want to wear is green, so I'm still trying to like figure out what I want to do. But I figured let's just start with the brows. Now I have never started since like my second video on this channel a couple months back with fresh brows. So I will be showing you how I do my brows. Now if anybody tries to attempt to do this and you come out looking like you got caterpillars on your eyes, don't be mad at me because I never said I was an expert or a professional. And brows are very hit or miss. Sometimes I use a dip and sometimes I use a pencil. Today I will be using the pencil. So let's get started. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to check in and catch up with you is because we are celebrating a new season. We are now in spring here on this side of the world, and everybody knows when it's spring, people get into spring cleaning. So dusting off the shelves, cleaning out your fridge, reorganizing your closet. But spring cleaning doesn't just stop there. So I've been taking just as much time, or maybe a little more time than physical cleaning, to do some inner work and some spring cleaning in my personal life. And I just figured I would share some of the things that I'm working on right now. I would like to improve, do less of or do more of, and just a little bit of self-reflection on how good I'm doing so far, on the progress I'm making in my life, and a couple more areas that need a little more work in my life. Now, I am doing my brows with a pencil today. This is from Wet n Wild. This is like a deep cocoa brown. I usually prefer using this over the dip sometimes, only because this is far darker, and if I'm not careful with how much I'm using it, sometimes I get a little heavy-handed. At least with this, you can build the color and the thickness of your brow based on how much you want to use the pencil, how sharp it is, how dull it is. So I feel like sometimes I have better control over the pencil than I do over, say, this brush right here that I use to dip my my brow color into. So I'm just going underneath. I've already brushed my brow up. I went underneath and just created a simple little line right here, and then I created another line going across. Now I do not have tails on my brows, so I have to create tails and then kind of build the rest of the brow towards the tails that I create. So for all of my browless people out there, this one is for you, because we have to use our imagination and then also make sure that it's still symmetrical to our faces. So I'm just going through now and doing a light stroke, because even though I want to be cute and everything, like I don't want to do too much. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to do like the heavy-handed stuff today. I don't want to go full on glam, but I still want to look a little spring chic, a little nice. So the first thing on my list of spring cleaning, emotionally, spiritually, physically, personally, whatever, is my time management. Because baby, I am a card-carrying member of the International Procrastination Association. Yes. And at first, I used to think it was just pure laziness. It came from me like judging myself. I realized that you don't have to be perfect to be a perfectionist. And oftentimes, people who are perfectionists happen to be procrastinators. It's not because you don't know how to do it. It's just that you want it to look a certain type of way, and because you realize how much time it's going to take, you end up not doing it at all. I definitely want to have a better organized schedule, a better organized workload. I feel like being a year into working from home during quarantine has definitely been probably one of the most challenging experiences in my life. Not just because of the change of the pace, but also the change of the environment. I feel like working from home kind of took me out of my element. The stress from work, I could leave in the office and come home, and this was my sanctuary. This was my place of peace. This was my place to decompress away from that. Working from home brings that stress, that anxiety, and just that overwhelming feeling of constantly being under pressure, or under certain timelines, into my place of peace. And it's something that I'm still trying to work around, and it's honestly something that has tripped me up, that I'm still learning to cope with, to be completely honest with you. Some days are better than others. um, Another thing that I really want to improve or do better on as far as time management goes is like working smarter and not harder. Meaning, prioritize better, especially when it comes to work, maintaining a proper schedule for that and all those projects, especially the time sensitive ones. I work with clients, so my work is service based and it's extremely time sensitive. Now, another major spring cleaning goal of mine this season is all across the board tighter budgeting, straight up and down with my finances. Um, I am so in the middle of making so many different types of moves that I am in a space where I really cannot afford to not have a more organized budget or disciplined financial life. So, one thing I definitely want to task myself with doing more of in terms of spring cleaning is cleaning up my spending habits, um, prioritizing what I actually need versus what I want, and how to treat myself or reward myself. Um, how often should I treat myself to this? How often should I treat myself to that? I want to be more disciplined in my spending, and I also want to be more disciplined in cleaning up the things that I want to pay off so I can kind of make better, quicker moves in my life. So that's definitely something that I want to do more of. And I want to map out my financial goals. I definitely want to map them out. It's all good to be up here and everything like that, but I want to actually write it down and put it on paper, and just kind of taking a step back from my wallet and focusing on, expenses versus income. I definitely am exploring different ways to monetize my gifts, monetize my talents, and also put myself in a position to have more streams of income, because I definitely think that's just as important, especially for the places I'm trying to go, literally and figuratively. The next one is definitely going to have to be keeping my faith system at the center of every single goal on this list and off this list. I shared a little bit in a few videos about how I've just been kind of investing in my prayer life, investing in, meditating and really focusing on keeping God at the center of everything that I ask for, everything that I dream of, and everything I strive for. And it's brought me a lot of really big blessings, and it's brought me a lot of really big lessons as well. It taught me patience, to be more specific about what it is that I'm asking for, be more specific about what it is that I desire, and be sure of it as well, because you will receive what you ask for sometimes. And it will kind of wake you up and make you realize that you weren't asking for the right thing. You were asking for what you thought you needed at the time, or you were asking for what you thought would be the solution to your problem, and it ended up not even helping you at all, or it maybe gave you more complications. And also, it taught me to better position myself and prepare myself to receive the things that I pray for as well. Recently, working with the network has been the manifestation of a lot of dreams and goals that I set out there. But it's also made my workload a whole lot heavier. Working on the tight schedule that we work on, trying to produce and to direct a show on a Friday and do everything that needs to be done on a little hard drive on my laptop just in time for Sunday evening has really, really pushed me in a way that I've never really pushed myself in a while. And then it's also taken away from my ability to just stop and focus on my worship life. And I don't like that. One thing I definitely want to do is not be too busy enjoying the blessings that I can't show appreciation for it, because it doesn't just stop with your prayers being answered. I have to show gratitude for those things, and there's still goals beyond the ones that I am currently achieving day by day that, I can't afford to have a strained relationship between myself and God. And even if it's in my private time or my quiet time, staying in the Word, staying disciplined, and there's still so much more in my spiritual life that I want to unlock. So when it comes to time management, one of those things for sure that fits on that list as well is balancing my work life versus my spiritual life, because without one, I cannot have the other. Progress over the last few months, especially after starting this channel, and just taking more leaps. I know that this is not the end. I still want to go further. I still want to do better, and I still want to put more out there. So one thing for sure that I want to do more of is say yes more often. Now, I don't mean saying yes in the terms of like me having weaker boundaries, because, I definitely need to learn how to say no to the right people. But when I say yes more often, I mean I want to say yes more often to opportunities. For years, people would reach out to me and say, "Hey, I want you to be a part of this project. I want you to be a part of this um, this situation, this brand, this company, this opportunity." And I would shy away because I felt like I didn't have enough to share, or I didn't know if my level of skills was enough to contribute. Just want to let you know, you got to cut that out, because first and foremost, if anybody is approaching you to work with them, to help them, to assist them, to do what it is that you do, no matter what you think you need improvement on, that person or that group saw something in you that was good enough or efficient enough to contribute to what it is that they're trying to do, or to help them, accomplish that goal that they have. When somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I noticed that you've been editing episodes for your network, and I noticed you've been working on editing more videos on your channel, and I see that you do this, this, and this. Can you help me edit this? Can you help me put together that?" My initial reaction, or my fear, my instinctive fear would tell me to run in the opposite direction. And I would tell myself, well, you've never done that before. So the fact that they're asking you to do it for them tells you that you should say no. When in reality, something led that person to you. Something led that person to ask you if you could do it. They never asked you if you did it before. They asked you to do it for them. Even if I've never done it before, or I've only done it once or twice, because it's going to be a learning experience for me. Those are the opportunities that are going to give me the chance to add something, or add that experience that I'm looking for so desperately. So I feel like saying yes more often to opportunities like that would definitely open up the doors that I'm looking to get into. One thing about sleeping on yourself for so long, one really frustrating thing when you finally decide to wake up to your own gifts, your own destiny, and your own talent and your own height, is the fact that every time you avoid sitting at that table because you lack the qualifications that you need to be sitting at that table, you cheat yourself out of the opportunity to learn something. There's so many networking events, there's so many mixers and conferences and different events that I felt, well, I haven't done this in this many years, or, yes, I have my degree in this, but I haven't, done exactly this, or, I didn't win an award for what I put out there, or I didn't, all of those things kept me in a space where I was saying to myself, how else am I supposed to learn how to get better at those things? How else am I supposed to gain experience that will put me in the position to win awards, or help me excel in that skill or that part of my career? If you feel like you do not have what it takes to be at that table, you should sit there anyway, because I guarantee you will walk away from that table with 10 times more than you sat there with in the first place. Surrounding myself with people who knew more than me, or were more experienced than me, and qualified than me, scared me. Not because I was jealous of those things, but because I was afraid that there would be this big moment where everybody would turn to me after introducing everybody around the table and say, "Okay, well, what do you do, Tasha?" And I was afraid that I would choke in that moment and not know what to say, or not have anything to say, or whatever it is I described wouldn't be good enough. The more I continue to enter those spaces, the more I continue to surround myself with those type of people, with those type of skills, the more I realize that there's something that I can offer them. There's something that I'm experienced in. There's something that I'm skilled at doing that I can show them how to do. And it's okay to need help. It's okay to not know what you're doing. What's not okay is staying in that lack of knowledge and staying in that lack of experience and keeping yourself there out of fear of judgment or feeling disqualified. Stop disqualifying yourself before you give anybody else a chance to. And if you don't have the skills, bounce back by learning them and earning them. Surround yourself with people who can teach you how to do those things, who can teach you how to reach your goals in a faster way that maybe it was taking you a longer time. There's something empowering about being amongst people who are sure of who they are, sure of what they want, and that becomes an energy exchange. Networking goes beyond exchanging Instagram pages. Networking goes beyond, exchanging phone numbers and, saying, okay, I'll stay in touch with you. Even if you don't get to talk to that person ever again, that was an exchange of energy. That was an exchange of strength and power and knowledge and skill. So I feel like the more I continue to put myself in those spaces to learn more and to do more, I'm becoming a better person for it. Even if it freaks me out, even if it's something I've never done before, even if it's somebody hiring me or inviting me to be a part of a project, playing a role that I've never played before, or editing a certain type of project that I've never worked on before, I want to run towards it and continue to face those things. But don't count yourself out, man. Do not count yourself out. Do not disqualify yourself. If you even have the option of sitting at that table, it's because that space was made just for you. That space was made available for you. If you are not meant to sit at that table, there's no way you would have been able to enter the room in the first place. So stop, okay? And I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm also preaching to myself too. There will be times where you experience plateaus. You will go through a cycle of wanting something so bad, wanting to accomplish something so bad, finally getting the courage to do it, and then getting on the other side of it and then finding another challenge or another hill to climb. It doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. It doesn't mean that it's not meant to have. It just means that you're building that resilience to the bigger picture, to the bigger goal, to the bigger finish line. Go easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Ask for help. Reach out. And if you are nervous about going to that open mic night, if you're nervous about signing up for that Zoom workshop for creatives, if you are nervous about going to that happy hour for college students, if you are scared to go to that cookout with, a certain group of people because you feel like you don't have what it takes to be a part of that circle, do it anyway. That's the challenge to myself, and that's a challenge to you. Let's work on this together. So once again, thank you so much for clicking play and chatting with me today and watching me be really indecisive about my hair and makeup for this whole brunch. In the meantime, don't forget, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And if this is your first video that you're watching, thank you for stopping by and clicking play as well. One thing that would be really helpful to me is if you can share with me some ways that you help yourself reach your goals faster, better, and smarter. And any tips and helpful advice that you think you might have for me on my path as well. Thank you for letting me share my journey with you. And I will see you next time. Maybe in another wig. Who knows? We'll figure it out together.